Good afternoon. Today we're at our bi-weekly media conference. I'd like to start with a statement concerning the upcoming weather as well as the weather we dealt with last week. As we entered last week's historic polar vortex, we weren't quite exactly sure what to expect, but our goal was to make sure everyone was safe, including Aurora's 1,200 plus city employees. Making the decision to close City Hall was not done lightly, but we knew it was necessary to ensure a safe outcome, as did the decision makers of hundreds of area schools and businesses. Yet, we still mandated certain city staff to provide essential services to the community regardless of the life-threatening Arctic temperatures. Prior to the weather event, I made an executive decision to provide time and a half paid for employees who were absolutely required to work due to the nature of their position. This was well received by staff. During a briefing after the event, it became all too evident. Our public safety personnel, although prepared to serve and protect, also put themselves in harm's way beyond what they normally do, day in and day out. Not only were they fighting fires and fighting crime, they were also fighting the dangerous, frigid cold to do so. As a sincere gesture of gratitude and appreciation for their efforts in extraordinary circumstances, I've authorized each member of the Aurora Police and Aurora Fire Departments who worked during the vortex to receive a bonus of $350. Now, no amount of money can truly reflect the value of our public safety team. It's just another way to say thank you and salute everyone for a job well done. As I stated on social media throughout the vortex, I'm very proud of our entire team at the City of Aurora. Not only does our team go above and beyond, they do so with the utmost professionalism and commitment to excellence in serving the public. They continue to make Aurora proud. We are one Aurora. Any questions from the media on the Mr. Lohr from the Beacon?
No, not really. Did the city? I know there was a fire during it, and the police helped with that too, and also bought the burgers and stuff, the food.
I'll tell you what, I'll let the chief of fire department talk about the fire a little bit.
Well, what I was gonna ask was, was anybody hurt during this, or did you have any cases of people, were there any workers that were overcome by the cold or any of this kind of thing?
No, it's just a real cold night. No one was hurt during that fire, fortunately.
Background fire.
Yeah, there's a structure fire on Liberty in Ohio. It was a two-story home. Came in early evening hours. And there was probably a press release we did on that earlier that has more of the details. But that was the start of it. It was very windy that night. Cold was really settling in. It was a working fire. Crews didn't have to work considerably hard at that fire, and no one got hurt during it. It did get considerably cold, but once you kind of get covered with ice and you're working hard out there, it tends to warm you up too. So, but going into that, the police officers did notice that these guys were out there working, and as a nice gesture, they went out and got them coffee and pizza and burgers and those sorts of things. So it was an extremely nice gesture on that part, be us to work together in a tough situation. I do have some stats from the polar vortex that I can talk about if you don't have any more questions right now.
No, sure. That's good.
During that time period, I'm just using the dates of the 30th, January 30th through February 2nd. Things associated with that. We had 2 car fires during that extreme cold, and we had that one house fire. Along with that, as a result of the cold that followed up in the days, we responded to 75 broken water pipes. So that's significant property loss that can happen for people. That's why we mentioned earlier last week about protecting your pipes and all those sorts of things from the cold. And even as a result, we still had 75 broken water pipes. And during that night of the cold, the Emergency Management Agency and the City of Aurora's Community Service provided blankets, as you know, and food to the area warming centers that went off without a hitch, And I also like to talk about what's going to be coming up this evening. There are people on Facebook that are watching this that I want to pass on to you. I know I kind of sound like the dad with all these don'ts, and you'd rather me sound like the uncle and all the things you can do. But this is for your own safety and for your own goods. You know, we gave pre-warning about the pipes and just trying to help you out. You know, I know the severe weather's passed. You know, but it's still, there's a need to check on family and friends that are at risk. You know, you still need to call these folks and call these people and still check on them on a regular basis. I also know the ice on the ponds and the rivers look really shiny and appealing right now. You know, parents, kids, stay off the ice right now. It's very unpredictable. It's very dangerous. Don't go out on the ice for any means. If someone does fall through the ice, don't try to rescue them. Don't go after them. Call 911 immediately, because you'll just become a victim as well. So please don't go out on the ice after someone, or your dog, or a ball, or anything. Just stay off the ice altogether. You know. And then brings us tonight's sleet, storm, and snowstorm that's coming, and I'll let everyone else talk about it a little bit. But please slow down, drive safer. If you see a down power line, don't go near it. Don't grab any kind of metal fence that's nearby. Don't even grab a branch that's there. I don't want you to get electrocuted either from those sorts of things. So stay away. And once again, thanks to all the Aurora firefighters, the Aurora police officers, you know, the street department, you know, for everyone's continued professional work, you know, even in bad conditions. Do you have any questions, Steve, about any of this?
If I could have Chief Kristen Zeman step up and talk a little bit about some of the police officers' activity during the polar vortex.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to report actually that I have very little to report on the police front. We were out there and making sure that people who were out in the vortex were picked up and taken to a warming station. And quite frankly, we served as support for the fire department and the street department during that time. So we are grateful to the community who heeded the advice to stay in. That was very important. So we really had no incidents of note, and I'm always happy to report when there's nothing to report. And as far as tonight, I reiterate exactly what Chief Krena said. We hope that people can get home safely after work and really do your best to stay in. That black ice out there can be very deceiving, and we would really like to prevent car accidents. And so the more people that can stay in and avoid that, the better off we'll be.
If I have our Chief of Public Works Control talk a little bit about, as the Chief Krenitz from the fire department pointed out, some of the things that happened the night of the vortex, the pipes bursting, your guys out working, as well as what they'll be experiencing this evening with some of the ice.
All right, thank you, Mayor. We already stated how cold it was last week, and the guys, I can't say enough about the guys from Water and Sewer. They responded to about 5 water main breaks in that 2-day period, and the conditions were miserable. They would rotate in and out of the trucks to try and stay warm, but they got their mission accomplished, sometimes in record time. Sometimes they fix these main breaks in less than 2 hours, and I can't, like I said, I can't say enough about them. I mean, great attitude. I want to thank the dispatchers, the office manager, everyone at Water and Sewer. During that time frame, they took 50 frozen meter calls. We had to dispatch guys out to take care of that. Dozens and dozens of frozen pipes that were investigated. And it's been nonstop since then. We knew this was going to happen. You can't have this kind of temperature extreme without some severe consequences. We only had 5 main breaks, a lot, during that 2-day period. But since then, we've had another 10 more. These guys have been working around the clock and also responding to 1/3 of the city that they treat from a snow plowing perspective. So on to that for tonight. Full crew was already deployed at 1 o'clock today. All of the streets should be salted by 5:30, 6 o'clock today. All the residentials received 1 pass of salt sometime between 1 and 3:30. We wanted to get that down before later in the evening so that we can concentrate on the primaries. We anticipate that later in the storm we'll have to come back and hit some of those residentials, but it'll really depend on how the storm plays out.
How do we expect that the travel will be tomorrow morning?
It really depends on if whether or not this storm turns into a snowstorm. If it turns into snow, it's going to be much more manageable, but it's hard to say right now. So travel will be slow tomorrow morning without a doubt, no matter what event we're looking at. It's just going to be trying.
Thank you, sir. So do we have any other questions from the media based on anything concerning the weather?
You know, one question I have. I know you talked about this last week during the vortex. That I think, and I want to say, I always thought 20 degrees is kind of the magic number. You get below that, and the salt doesn't really work. But I'm assuming on an ice storm like this, if you can stay ahead of it a little, the salt will at least work, right? I mean, we're not expecting. I don't know what the temperatures are talking about, but I would think it's going to be at a point where at least the salt can do some work.
That is definitely in our advantage. Actually, pavement temperatures today reached almost 50 degrees, and they're on their way down now. And it's unfortunate that it's hitting about 32 degrees right about the same time the freezing rain hits tonight. So we anticipate, whether it's rain or sleet, when it comes in contact with the ground, it will be freezing. So, but that temperature is on our side, so we expect the salt to work, and it's just a matter of having it in place at the right time. And you can imagine with primaries as busy as ours are, the key is getting, and that's why we did those last. You don't want the rock salt being in place for too long, and the traffic impacting it will start migrating that salt to the curb line where we don't want it. So we should have it deployed just at the right time.
Now, if you think about it, there's been almost 100-degree difference, in a matter of 2 days. It's almost like going from 0 to 100, 0 degrees, to 100 degrees. Coldest day in winter to the hottest day in summer within a two-day span, which is why we've been having all the issues with our water main breaks.
Was there any flooding or anything? You guys didn't really have any. Did you have flooding? It seemed like it melted at least at a rate where that wasn't a factor. It's not like in the spring when you get rain on top of snow.
Correct. With the frozen ground and the snow that was already on the ground, there was real concern about the rain event that was coming in on Sunday into Monday. But very fortunate, between the fog and the higher temperatures, a lot of that snow went away before we even started getting any misting rain on Monday. So that's about the best weather pattern issue that we've had in a good month.
Yeah, we caught a break for once.
So again, I can't say enough, our public service and our city personnel, how great a job they did, during the polar vortex, and how great a job they're doing preparing for the ice that we'll be dealing with over the next 24 hours. So, I'm just so proud of our people, and they continue to do a good job and continue to impress. All right. If we're done with the weather, let's go on to something hopefully a little bit more interesting and exciting. The announcement of the State of the City 2019, State of the City Address 2019, which will be 1 month from today, Tuesday, March 5th. The theme of our State of the City Address this year will be "The Light is On. Aurora is open for business." Now, during the State of the City Address, we plan to go over a substantive checklist of things accomplished since the last year, since our last State of the City, and the things that we have on the horizon. It's going to be hosted at Aurora University. It's going to be streamed live on social media. There will be limited general public tickets, and they'll be released this week. We believe Aurora University holds 525 people. So we are going to open it up to the public for, I think, about 150 of those tickets, just the general public. And other folks will be the invited individuals that will be invited there by the Chambers of Commerce, which will actually be putting this event on as they support this event every year. Questions?
That's at the Crimey Auditorium?
That Crimey Auditorium, that's correct, yeah.
And that's again, I'm sorry, Tuesday, March 5th?
Tuesday, March 5th.
And that's, what time do you guys?
6 o'clock.
Oh, it's at night.
Right. It'll be at night, exactly.
I can't go, I'll be at a city council meeting. Oh,
You're right, right away. We're doing city council early that day. So we can be prepared for this state of the city and talking about all the good things Aurora's done over the last year. So any general questions for me? All the media out there, media world.
I don't really have any questions for you.
All right. You got enough to write about then?
I think so.
Yeah. Everything all good in Aurora?
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear.
There's plenty to write about.
All right, well, we'll see everyone in 2 weeks. We do this every 4:30 before committee of the whole, just to give the media an opportunity to ask any questions about anything going on in the city, or now, or what's coming up in the future. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.